everyone, welcome to another episode of our new series, Talkative Strangers. Today we have with us Mrigendra Sharma. Can you tell the audience a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I have a background in film and effects. I before the pandemic, I used to work with Red Chillies VFX as a junior FX artist, and
Okay.
since then I have been freelancing and working on my own personal projects. So yeah, that's I think it about me.
So,
So,
taking out the current scenario, and we are so much into films. So, have you seen anything changing in the box office or the due to COVID, basically, any scenario that have been changed?
Definitely, like due to COVID, a lot has changed and it has affected the box office. In terms of Hollywood numbers or in India domestic numbers, like we have suffered a loss, as an industry. But compared to a Hollywood counterpart, you can still see major Hollywood releases. Like since the past few months, like films like Godzilla or F9 or Black Widow, they have been releasing. But when you talk about
Right.
the theater situation in India, it's been pretty bad since the start of COVID. Like I don't even recall like we had a big film that has been released since the start of this pandemic. Like
Right.
and even if like if some major star like Akshay Kumar, like even he released I think his Lakshmi Bomb on Hotstar Plus,
Lakshmi and
yeah.
Hotstar,
and
right?
yeah, and that was like the last big film apart from Radhe that I can recall. And
Hmm.
most of
It
the
was
films have
also
been
on
going to.
OTT, but yes, some of the
Yeah,
part
it was
was
also on
released
OTT.
in cinemas.
Yeah, yeah. So like we haven't seen that growth in this pandemic in terms of our box office numbers. Whatever relief that it has been given to us, it has been due to the Hollywood films that have been released, be it Tenet or Wonder Woman or
Hmm.
films like that will be releasing in India from
Suicide
August, like
Squad,
Cruella, Suicide Squad, F9. So, but
right?
when you
Hmm.
talk like that's the situation in India. But South Indian films, some of them have been doing like recently. Master did well,
Master, yes,
not great,
yes.
not
Hmm.
great, but it
Not,
at least managed to
yes,
pull some crowd. You know,
right, right.
but we still like even like we need to have like of two or three films like that gross 300 to 400 crore per year, like we used to have that, be it Salman Khan films, Amir Khan film, and the those kind of films, they draw audiences in theaters. You can't watch those kind of films in your movie, like you won't get the feel, you won't
Right, right,
like the
exactly,
Hmm.
paisa vasool wala
exactly.
ek film rehta hai.
The cinema going
Right.
experience is separate due to
Correct. Like,
this.
the whole theater experience, like it can't be replicated. No matter, if you even install the IMAX sound system in your house, you can't
Hmm.
replicate the theater
Yes,
environment,
exactly.
on
Not
that.
every person can afford that much at their
Yeah, and
home.
even if, yeah, and for me, like even if I had, an 80-inch or 100-inch TV, I'd still prefer to go to the cinema because, the cinema
Yes,
is a
that's
very
a
Hmm.
different experience. Right,
yeah, it's like an event. It's like a collective thing that we as a community share,
Yeah.
right.
did you guys watch Avengers Endgame or Infinity War in
Yeah.
theaters? Or
Yes, yes, both
uh,
of the movies.
That was worth watching in theaters only.
yeah, and
Yes, exactly. And I watched it thrice.
yeah, same. I'm like I watched it like two three times, and the main reason for
Right.
going in the theaters was, when in the morning, I like watching first day first show movies.
No,
I That's
exactly.
this whole.
Same with me. Same with me.
Yeah, so
I
there's
also
this
watched the
whole
movie at first day
thing
first
with
show.
me, like, if a movie is releasing, if I like that movie, I want to watch it first day first
Yes,
show.
right,
Yeah,
right.
and so what I experienced with Infinity War and Endgame, like talking about Infinity War first, like when in the I went like 20 kilometers from where I live. I went to Vodala and I went to watch that movie, because I really wanted to watch it on a biggest screen possible,
Right.
so and those people that were in the cinema hall that day, we were all very anxious, we were all very excited, we were all
Right.
waiting for this event that has been teased to us since the past couple of, and when we get the shock and spoiler alert, when people die
Hmm.
on the screen, we all were like, there's this, theater में जो आवाज आती है ना, अरे ऐसे टाइप की होता है,
Right,
like ऐसा
right, right, right. The
वो
hooting
घर
and
में
the
नहीं मिल
whistles.
hooting and all,
That
like with Thor
yes,
के entry,
exactly.
you don't get that
Hmm.
kind of reaction in home,
Right. Yes.
so that's one of the reason, why I still root for theaters, no matter how good quality content that we get on OTT. But I'm still that kind of guy, that's like I still want to watch a movie. I'm still eagerly waiting for theaters to open in Mumbai when it will open soon. And so I will go and definitely watch a movie, because that is something that I really like. That is something I like sharing with other people also, the sense of community that we have. So that's really special for me. So, and in regards with Hollywood, they have been trying different method. They have been testing hybrid releases also, like especially HBO Max in this scenario. Like
Mm.
since the
Yes,
past couple of
he
years,
simultaneously released in its platform and at
simul
cinemas. He has
yeah,
simultaneous release
correct,
of movies.
simultaneously, correct. Because the streaming game, Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, they are like they pull money, and they are, and like the
Mm.
difference between in terms of revenue in theaters and streaming is that when you distribute your films in theater, you have to share a certain percentage with the exhibitors,
Right,
the theater owners.
exhibitors.
Mm.
Right,
Yeah, but big studios like Disney, or
they
like
also
Warner,
distribute the films in
they
most
distribute
cases
your film, yeah, but they do have to give a percentage to the exhibitors, the theater
to
owners.
the
They have
exhibit.
to do
Yes,
that.
they should, they
Yeah,
should. That's a
but
different point.
in but when you talk about Disney Plus, it's keeping all the money to itself. It doesn't have to
Right,
share with anything apart from what it pays its employees and other staff. But it's not, there is no percentage wise division of the revenue that has been generated when you watch a movie online. you know
hmm,
so that is very beneficial for big film studio, and not everyone can afford their own streaming services, like
Mm.
the like currently, like Amazon, Netflix, and Disney, HBO Max, they are like the top streaming services, and
OTT.
obviously
Right.
OTT services, and obviously Netflix has been in this game for a long time. But like soon, like Disney is going to take over. Like Disney Plus, it's going to surpass the monthly subscriber count. Because
Right.
Disney has a lot of content. Like
Yes,
it
Mm.
owns
exactly.
everything. It basically owns a lot of
Yeah.
pop culture. Pixar,
From Marvel
Lucasfilms,
to yes,
Mm.
Marvel,
Marvel.
and if I'm not wrong, all the Nat Geo and Discovery stuff also, and Hulu and all the other stuff.
Yes,
So
yes, Nat Geo
Disney,
is also comes under
Nat
the.
Geo,
It's
correct?
basically the owned by Star Network. Nat Geo comes
Yeah,
under
the
Star
Star
Network. So Star Networks is actually a big studio. In India also there is a subsidiary by the name of Foxstar Studios or
Fox.
something like that
Yeah, I
name.
mean, like,
And in
yeah,
US
yeah, yeah.
it is 20th Century Fox. So yes, Star
Yeah,
is a
correct.
big network under which
Star is a
many.
big network. So they have a
So
lot of
Hotstar is
content. They
nothing
have a
but of
lot of work.
Star. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like in India, it makes sense to keep it as Disney Plus Hotstar, because I like it. I like, this is my opinion, because Hotstar generates a lot of viewership during the IPL season. And
Mm.
Yes.
IPL is massive in India, and
Yeah.
you have you had Hotstar that is already owned by Disney, and when Disney Plus were launching their own streaming service, Disney Plus, so I mean, it made sense to just rename it Disney Plus Hotstar instead of actually promoting another streaming services. We already have one that is so massively popular in India, and you
Right.
just have to add
Get
a
a add
prefix
on.
to it. Yeah,
Right.
and you
And many
get,
content is
and this,
also that.
yeah. So like I think down the line it will change to Disney Plus. I think so. Eventually, but
I don't think that because it
like
also contains
because
content from Star, right? Star, the Star Network.
no,
So
no,
it
I'm
should
not
invite
talking
the name
about
of
the No, no, I'm not talking about the content. I'm talking just about the name of the streaming,
name.
because
I
Disney,
don't think.
yeah, because Disney has other legal obligations also to keep the name, for a certain amount of time, when acquiring other
Okay.
stuff, and
No, I haven't
currently
heard
also,
of it.
if I'm, yeah, but currently also, like Disney is facing some legal complications. If Brazil, if I'm not wrong, or some other place there, because they have their own Star network. I know Disney wanted to do like Disney Plus Star, something like that over there. So like
Okay.
there are other complication, but it doesn't matter. Like we all know it as Hotstar, Disney Plus, Hotstar, and but
Hmm.
eventually when it gets cashed
Right.
on as Disney Plus, it won't make that difference. It just name will go, but content will remain the same.
Right.
Hmm.
So you, as you were talking
So
about the Hollywood films that gets reach in other countries, that is due to the language that they share. So in India, the situation that has occurred to the box office due to pandemic is primarily due to the movies that are not famous outside India that much. Some of the
Yeah, I
names
mean,
get
like,
recognized at large scale. So that is also
correct.
one of the reasons that Hollywood is surviving, because their movies are actually seen in outside the parts of world. So
Yeah,
you can
because
also,
pre-pandemic, Hollywood already had an
yes,
established,
exactly,
community, audience,
all over the
but
globe, right? All over the
yeah,
globe.
we
Indian was one
also
of
have,
the
but
most,
not that much compared to Hollywood.
yes,
Obviously,
exactly. So you cannot
English is
compare.
a,
Actually.
yeah. So, like, obviously, and in terms of, like, it's like the return, that we get, our films don't make as much money as Hollywood films do,
No,
or
that is
Chinese
also
films for the matter. It's not just about releasing them on this number of screen, like 2,000 or 5,000 or 20,000, whatever. But it's also about like how much revenue can be generated. Like, after Hollywood, like the Chinese film industry is the biggest, and and like it's gonna take like you just have a look at the top highest grossing films of last year, if I'm not last year or this year, the top two are Chinese films of
okay.
this year.
No, I
Yeah,
haven't seen the list, but might be possible
yeah,
that it.
like first is like Hi Mom, something like that. And second is Detective Chinatown, and they're both in the range of 700 to 800 million US dollars.
Oh,
Whereas in terms of this year English language movie, only F9 The Fast Saga has managed to make around $650 million.
oh,
So
yeah.
and like depending on its leg, I don't think it will be able to stretch more. It's been playing since the past 2 3 months, but and like this year also we are seeing many delays, and due to the Delta variant, especially that has been hitting
yes,
the market. That has been a major concern for the distributors, exhibitors, and the whole film industry in general, because when you small budget films don't suffer that much compared to big budget films. Because
Hmm.
when you make a small budget movie, like say around like coming like 5 to 10 million dollar budget, and you can make that much even if your film makes 20 to 30 million, or you give it to any OTT platform. The small budget movies can survive, and it's better for them also, because they may get lost in this theater scenario, when shadowed by the big budget movies. But
Hmm.
when you have OTT, different OTT platforms, they
yes,
get a
exactly. They get
platform to shine.
another level of recognition. Right, right,
Yeah, yeah. So that's also a boon for them. Like, but obviously, like I heard many people say like, no, theater is not coming back. Theater has ended. But for me, I'm still optimistic, because we have seen movies like that made close to 2 billion, 2.5 billion, 3 close to 2.7 billions. And like a studio like Disney, which has a record of delivering 7 $1 billion plus movies in a single year,
right.
they can't make that kind of money, just by streaming them online.
Right.
And correct, you can't make that kind of money. And so yeah, I mean, like I'm still waiting for Avengers type of movie, or like for Avatar 2, to release
Avatar
next year, so
2,
I can.
James Cameron.
Yeah, because I Avatar is something like your PC or your uh, TV can't justify the magnitude of the movie, the scale of the movie,
Right.
the experience overall, that James Cameron will be providing us, and
Yes,
so
exactly.
for that kind of movie you need theater, and for that kind of movie to survive, you need those movies to make massive amount of money. Like
Hmm.
the budgets are like out of this world. So like in terms of budget, like we Indians, we haven't even reached there. Like we can't even comprehend the level of budget that they work on. Like even like we haven't even made that much money that they spend their budget on. So
Hmm.
like that's the big difference between big budget movie here and there. Like maybe a big budget movie like an Akshay Kumar star or Salman Khan star might just make its money, even it's a little bit on streaming platform here in India. But when you talk about a Hollywood big budget film, it can't make that kind of money in just by streaming it or even by releasing it in a hybrid manner. Like
Hmm.
in recent case, if that comes to mind, is Black Widow.
Hmm.
Because Marvel has a huge fan. Like Marvel is currently the biggest IP right now
Yeah.
in film industry. Like it's a big brand. Like
Yes,
most of
exactly.
people like they like blindly trust Marvel. Like they know like Marvel. If
Hmm.
if it has a name Marvel, you're gonna get good stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
You get
right.
because they. I kind of think of Marvel movies as like a TV series. So each movie step because and the
Hmm.
reason why I'm talking about it as a TV series, not to devalue it or something, or not to put it down or something, but in terms of the consistency of the movie,
Storyline,
because
the
the
prolonged
tone, no,
storyline.
yeah, keeping in mind the storyline tone of the movie, like a certain mood that you will get into when you watch a
Hmm.
movie. Great
Yeah.
action sequences, bit of comedy interactions. So that
Right.
is
Hmm.
a predetermined
Package
mindset
of
that we have.
entertainment. Right.
Correct. So like if going to watch a Marvel movie, I'm gonna get action sequences that are very good. I'm gonna get great comedic conversation between the cast. This is what I have in mind when I watch a Marvel movie. You know, so Marvel, that brand has that kind of fan base also, and that kind of consistency with its product. Like they deliver hits. I don't think like Incredible Hulk, you will say that underperformed, but still comparatively did well. And the reason I'm talking about the other Marvel films is because uh, they have a lot of films right up their sleeve that they need to release because they have 3 TV, four films to release per year. And this pandemic has only affected their whole strategy to to move with the storyline or to the face or whatever you call it. But when we talk about a film like Black Widow, that has been released, a big Marvel budget film, like
Right.
those kind of movies have a budget of around 200 million US dollars. And no, I'm not even talking about the PR and marketing stuff. I'm just talking about the production budget. you know
Hmm.
so even to break even those kind of films, you need to have at least 400 to 500 million dollars, that the film
Hmm.
makes. So like currently, like Black Widow has made in terms of theater revenue only like around 350, if I'm not wrong, or 360 something million dollars. And
It is
it
still
doesn't
actually
look
making up to that mark, despite of being cinemas closed and shut in many places.
well. Like when you talk about films like they kind of make majority of the money in the initial few days, and then they kind of
Hmm.
slow down.
Yes,
So like
that's
they're like you can determine the future like based on the opening weekend numbers or the first week or something. So like the trade analysts, they have a general idea, like this is like the max Black Widow will go, like domestically or internationally. And it made something around $60 million on Disney Plus also,
okay.
which was
By
yeah
selling the
which was
rights, they also sell the satellite rights, and there are music rights that are being sold, and many
yeah,
of
that
the
comes later.
other aspects
Yeah,
are also, yes, after the
yeah,
post
yeah.
production. Actually, the rights are being
After that,
sold.
yeah, yeah. So I'm talking about currently the only the production cost,
Production.
irrespective of
Okay.
the PR and marketing cost and the actual revenue that it generates in theaters.
Okay.
Obviously, like they have a lot of other ways to generate, digital streaming, toys, and all that stuff.
Yes,
So they
merchandise for that matter.
merchandise. Yeah.
Lego must be buying
So
the rights for to make the merchandise of the particular characters that are being displayed in the Marvel movie.
correct. And Marvel itself has its own brand of toys also. They have like and their own, and they sometimes they publish tie-in comic books also. I
Hmm.
think like if I remember correctly, during Infinity War they had published a 3 or 5 part comic book storyline, giving a
Okay.
brief background of what the Avengers were doing from Civil War, between the time from Civil War to Infinity War, what Thanos or something
Hmm.
like. So like obviously you have other ways. Once you build a brand like that, you find other ways to generate income.
Yes,
As
exactly.
simple as that. Yeah.
Right, right, right.
So
So yes, it was a great idea that you shared about the how the actual the performance that is being made by the Hollywood movies in the box office. So
yeah.
any idea regarding to the content that we are actually seeing in OTT, or the people's paradigm shift from the basic movie going cinemas, or the habit of people actually watching those Salman Khan or the big budget films, to the original content that is being made by OTT with so small budget, but they actually perform very well in that OTT. They become quite famous. So
Yeah, I mean, like it's all subjective in terms of the kind of content you watch. But like personally, for me, like obviously, I would prefer to watch The Family Man on OTT rather go and watch Radhe on the big screen.
no,
Because
that's a different content because there's a TV series. I'm comparing the movie to a movie. The movie that we actually watch. For that matter, Netflix special movies that are
okay,
basically
okay,
made by
that's
Netflix, that are
okay.
oriented
Like
to
Netflix
made by
original
Netflix.
movies.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
like yeah, I mean, like for me, like if I see a tagline like made by a streaming company like a Netflix original or a HBO Max original, so
Right.
you when you make a film, when you when you produce it, you go into post production also. There's a different approach while making a film for the big screen and making it for streaming service. There's a
Okay. So how is it different?
vast, because the theater experience is infinitely better. So so all
That
the
is
work, all the hard work, all the small design, sound design, or the work that goes into making a film will be obviously
credit.
more. Yeah, I mean, like you can spot the difference between a movie made for television and a movie made for theater.
Yes,
Quality difference.
that and roughly.
You yeah, the in terms of the budget, not just the budget, but also the quality of the production. Like for me, like although have you seen Extraction on Netflix?
Yes, I have seen, but it was not a
Yeah,
Netflix film to watch at home. It was quite a movie having insane action. I think it was
yeah,
more of a cinema movie.
yeah, like it was like it was definitely more of a cinema movie. But when you like me, for someone who comes from a VFX background, also when I didn't like I mean, like for me the visual effects were like Netflix wala level. For me, like that, like if I would have seen that movie on in theaters, I probably wouldn't have liked it that much. But
Okay.
when I talk about like I watched it on Netflix, then that's acceptable for me because I can uh, watch those kind of movie, like not just Extraction but other small budget movies or films like Old Guard or something like that. But even when you watch a movie like F9, even though how bad the reviews are, or even
Yes.
if you don't like those kind of movies, you can't deny the fact that those kind of movies are still made to be watched in theaters. you
Right.
know
Right.
so that's
The
the biggest
amount.
difference. Correct. From for me, when you're approaching while making a film, like when you have like, if like whether you're making a film for the smaller screen like TV and home appliance, streaming services, something like that, or for something that needs to be experienced uh, in the cinema halls. So so that is a difference. Like everyone can, like for most of the part, people can differentiate between a movie that has been made for the small screen and a movie that has been made specifically to be enjoyed in theaters. So
Yes, that we
yeah,
can distinguish somehow.
yeah.
But as being your field of VFX, so how do you basically compare the VFX of the Indian movies, and how it's all at all so much different in Hollywood? Because how the VFX so much there is difference in VFX as compared to India.
Like there are a lot of films that have genuinely good VFX, like in terms of not just the overall film quality, but like specific, like we have wonderful artists in India, and
Yes, despite that
we have
fact, not I'm not actually talking about the budget constraint that India have,
no.
because there are so much big budget films also lacks some of the VFX that we expect. It has those
Yeah,
cringy VFX scenes that we actually distinguish that it's VFX. It's due to
yeah,
VFX.
yeah,
But despite
correct.
that fact, if you watch any Hollywood film that is not that much big budget, but they have that crisp that you enjoy, that you're actually watching a movie. It's that
Yeah,
realistic. So what is the
yeah.
point that is being, what is the
Like
reason?
first of all, like I know I can't talk about it without talking without bringing the budget constraint. Like that is first thing that I need to talk about. The budget plays a very big factor in terms of quality, because rendering is not something that is cheap. Rendering requires a lot of resources. I'm not talking just about the hardware, but in terms of the money that has been sent. I mean, like, I know for a fact, like, we do have capable people in India, but the industry is not that big as compared to other Hollywood or any other international media VFX industry studio.
Hmm.
So, like, and the first thing that comes to my mind is the pay issue. Like, obviously you are getting paid better outside. When you join an international studio outside of India. And there's this thing like we people and a lot of content. Even foreign films. Take big budget films like Avengers or Venom, or like a lot of that gets out. So, like, when you're making a film in a big budget film or any other film for that matter, a single VFX studio cannot handle or does not handle all of its shots.
Hmm.
Different studio work on different shots or sequences or scenes. So, like, a lot of stuff gets outsourced to India. And like, we in terms of the Indian VFX industry, we like, it has been a running gag, like we are like cheap labor for rotoscoping and all that stuff. Are you familiar with the term rotoscoping?
No, 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 I'm not.
Okay,
What's that
okay,
mean?
okay. So rotoscoping is basically, like, in to explain you in simple terms, it is like creating matte, uh, uh, and extracting layers or elements from footage. But what I mean to say, that is a very manual kind of work. And and you get that kind of artists a lot in India compared to other international studios. So, and like, obviously pay is a very big factor. Like, the artists don't get paid better in India, so even if they are good, they have better job opportunities outside, so they definitely migrate outside.
Okay,
So,
okay,
yeah, so that is one of
that's
the
the reason.
biggest. Yeah, because obviously, like, it's not like something like, even you just go to the list of, when you're watching a film, go through the credits, you'll find a lot of Indians and Asian
Indian
names under
names,
that.
yes, exactly. In Marvel ending also, I've observed that because we
Yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah. So,
wait to see the end credit
end credit
scene.
scenes.
So we actually see the names that are being listed down, and we actually find out what are the Indian names.
Yeah, कि यार ये इंडिया भाई है अपना तो
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.